We're Karen and Sandy Shapiro, and we're the rabbis tonight. Welcome.
Yes.
So let's enjoy Shabbat together, and we'll start with an opening song on page 24, Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Shalom, Shalom. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom, Shalom. Bachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Shalom, Shalom. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom, Shalom. Peace be upon you, angels divine. Shabbat Shalom, whomever Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Shalom, Shalom. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom, Shalom. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Shalom, Shalom. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom, 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 Shalom. One more time. Shalom, Shalom.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I'd like to call up Ellen Ross for the candles.
And
I
if
think
anybody
those are-
wants to, you
Wait,
can
wait.
light the candles.
Should we do the candles?
Yeah, we can invite people up
Yeah.
now. Go ahead.
If you'd like to light some
tables,
candles while
no
we're lighting
waiting,
candles.
no waiting.
Like it's in the bulletin, everybody can come up and light some candles on either side.
Yeah, please do. It was a lot of fun. I
it
know
was
a lot of
great.
you enjoyed it at home during the pandemic, and that was one of the learnings that we thought would be fun to bring into the sanctuary itself. So the candles are found on page 2 also.
Oh,
You want to
page
use that one? Go ahead.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindled light.
Go ahead and light the candles. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat. The heaven and earth were finished in all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God stopped on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on that day God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikarod lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Thank you.
Please turn to page 6. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of the synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. Please turn to page 28 for the Baruch Hu, and please rise as able.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam vaed.
We continue on page 31 together. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, for whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, for whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv arabim.
We continue with the Shema on pages 34 and 35.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kivod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated.
Me'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavcha hayom al levavecha Veshinantam levanecha, vedibarta bam, beshivtecha bevetecha, uvlechtecha vaderech, uvshochbecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letodafot beinenecha, uchtavtam amezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru ve'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
We continue with our Song of Freedom, the Micha Mocha, on page 40.
Mocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Nora tehilot osef eleh, Nora tehilot Adonai yimloch leolam vaed. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokea yam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze Elianu ve'amru, ze Elianu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch leolam vaed. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai.
Hashkivenu is on page 42.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. V'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. V'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. V'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim.
Bishamru is found on page 44. We sing it to celebrate Shabbat.
Shabbat, לעשות את השבת, לדורותם, ברית עולם, ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפל.
The Amida or the Tefillah begins on page 46 and continues through page 52. We'll chant straight through these prayers. Please rise as able.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך חוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע. ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. Page 60 is Shalom Rav, a prayer for peace. As we sing this prayer, we think of the many people who are in need of peace, particularly those in the Ukraine and those affected by gun violence. We sing Shalom Rav on page 60.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech hador lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech hador lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
We turn to our prayer for healing. There are many whom we love who are in need of healing of body, healing of spirit, healing of the mind. Sorry. This Shabbat, this should be your side.
Keep reading and I'll see what I can do.
Oh, okay. Thank you. This Shabbat, please put in the chat those whom you love if you are at home, and please share aloud, loved ones, as my hand passes over the congregation.
Melita.
We sing together. The words can be found on page 253 of the Mishabera.
We take a moment now for silent prayer.
And
will be doing our Devar Torah or sermon tonight. Please come up.
Shabbat Shalom. When Rabbi Van asked me if I would like to do the Devar Torah for tonight, I first wanted to know which Torah portion. I did not want to be stung with a portion that had bugs, insects, or locusts. I didn't want to find myself with a not so easy to find something to talk about portion. Well, I found out it was Balak in the book of Numbers, and I remembered a talking donkey, which is way better than bugs, so I agreed to have this honor. Here is a bit of background to the Torah portion. The people of Israel have been wandering in the wilderness and are camped out in the plains of Moab. The king of Moab was not happy about this, as there were so many people, and the elders were in fear that they would take up all their resources. As it is written, "This horde will now lick up all that is around us, as the ox licks up the grass of the field." Balak, the king of Moab, thinking he shall be able to defeat this people and drive them from the land, enlists the help of Balaam, a pagan prophet who is from a neighboring nation. Balak asked him to put a curse on the Israelite people. God steps in, telling Balaam not to go to curse the Israelites. However, the messengers of Moab plead with Balaam and offer more money, and Balaam really wants to do this job. God agrees he can go, but he will only do what God tells him to do. So Balaam rose in the morning and saddled his donkey and began his journey. Along the way, the donkey suddenly stops. He stops moving completely. He gets angry at the donkey. After they have a conversation, yes, Balaam and the donkey have the conversation, his eyes are opened. He realizes that the donkey has stopped because there is a messenger of God in the road. The angel permits him to continue forward to Balak, but commands him not to curse, but to bless Israel. Once he arrives, and even though he has a lot of pressure from Balak, Balaam remains faithful to God and blesses the people of Israel. Balak was afraid of the Israelites and asked for curses. Balaam agreed to curse, but instead his words became a blessing. Also in this Torah portion is Balaam's statement of how beautiful are your tents, Ma tovu ohalecha, a teaching we are all familiar with. The opening of their tents did not face directly across from one another, showing their modesty and care for one another, displaying kindness, truly a blessing. So, what is this concept of speaking blessings and curses? The words we choose to speak to others determine whether they will be blessed or cursed. Words are an important tool for communicating. The Talmud teaches us that the tongue is such a dangerous instrument that it must be concealed behind the mouth and teeth in order to prevent it from being used improperly. When one speaks poorly of another, in Hebrew it is referred to as lashon hara, meaning evil tongue. Why was Balak so intent on cursing the people of Israel? Had he never heard of the proverb, "You can catch more flies with honey than with vinegar"? Simply said, it is much easier to get what you want by being polite rather than being rude. Why did Balaam remain faithful to God? It seems as though Balaam did hear of this proverb and realized people become more successful in life by being nicer rather than being hurtful or mean. Perhaps he would call these words also, "Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." That which is hateful to you, do not do to your fellow. Have you ever stopped yourself in mid-thought or mid-sentence from continuing on a negative path, a path that might cause us to feel bad or someone else to feel bad or inadequate and possibly cause irreversible damage? How did it feel to turn that ugliness, that curse, into words of kindness, into a blessing? Words indeed are powerful. It is an important Jewish value to measure our words and make certain we don't use them to hurt others. We never know when we will have to eat our words, so keep in mind honey tastes better. Thank you for this honor, and Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Sue.
Susan, that was wonderful. I hadn't thought about the whole Torah portion and all of the various aspects of it like that. I do remember the talking donkey, though, so thank you. That's always a winner. So the anthem that I chose to go with this week's portion is Matovu, which is the Matovu Ohalecha Yaakov Mishkanotecha Yisrael, which Susan just taught us, reminded us, is how goodly are your tents, O Jacob, and your dwelling places, O Israel. So I thought it would be nice to hear that text set to music. I know you're used to hearing this on the High Holy Days, but it can actually be sung every morning. It's a familiar piece to sing, and I thought it would be fun to bring it in tonight. Matovu, Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkanotecha Yisrael, Matovu, Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkanotecha Yisrael, Vani berov chastecha, avovetecha, Eshtachav el hecho kochecha, beyiratecha, Matovu, Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkanotecha Yisrael, Adonai ahavti, me'on beitecha, u'mekom mishkan kevodecha, mishkan kvodecha, v'ani eshtachaveh, ve'echra, evrecha lifnei Adonai osi, Matovu, Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkanotecha Yisrael.
That was beautiful. I love that.
Thank you. So it brings memories of the holidays,
Yeah,
doesn't it,
truly.
for a lot of us?
Okay, we continue for the Eleno on page 283. Please rise as able.
Oh, wait, hang on one second. Let's do this so they can hear you.
Let us adore the ever-living God and render praise unto you, who spread out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else.
ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Please be seated.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Get your cheat sheet.
We now turn to our time of remembering. Our reading can be found on page 289.
In nature's ebb and flow, God's eternal law abides. When tears dim our vision or grief clouds our understanding, we often lose sight of God's eternal plan. Yet we know that growth and decay, life and death all reveal a divine purpose. God, who is our support in the struggles of life, is also our hope in death. We have set God before us and shall not despair. In God's hands are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all flesh. Under God's protection we abide, and by God's love are we comforted. O life of our life, soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts and fill our spirits with abiding trust in you.
On this Shabbat, we remember those who have been taken most recently from our Temple family. In Shiva, in the first week since their death, we remember
Donald Jacobson, Byron Krantz, Jeffrey L. Koresh.
in Shloshim, in the first month since their death, we remember
Charlotte Coleman, Constance Gordon.
and we mark the anniversaries of death that fall on the Shabbat.
Bertie Schwartz Anthony, Ben W. Bayman, Stanley Barron, Charles C. Coleman, Martin A. Davis, Sarah N. Feldman, Reuben Freeberg, Lorraine Klinger Friedman, Walter A. Friedman, Maurice M. Gardner, Carolyn Kahn Grossman, Ethel R. Haar, Morris Jaffe, Belle Wolf Kahn, John Klein, May Lieberman, James Mahler, Hortense Handelmeyer, Egerton R. Parker, Sheila Pekas, Peter F. Rosian, Evelyn K. Royce, Saju Sakai, Melville Sumet, Manuel C. Schenkel, Flora Bernstein Siegel, Elaine Siegel, Leon Singer, Elsie P. Stoddard, Ronald B. Thorpe, Philip Wise, Erwin E. Yaris.
Our griefs and sympathies are mingled. As together we turn to the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Please rise in body or in spirit.
Yiskadal,
Yiskadash Shemei Rabbah, V'yamad Divrach Rutei V'yamich Malchutei, V'chayon V'yachon V'chayei Devo B'Yisrael, Ba'al Uzman Kariv V'yiru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah V'varach V'amei Amei Amaya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yipa'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithalev v'yithalal shmei kudusha b'rechu. Le'elam yukachata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Ta'amiran v'almad v'yiru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. v'chayei aleinu ve'akol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimrama, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'akol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and give comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say together, Amen.
Announcements are going to be read now by Tessa.
Please be seated.
Be seated. And Tessa.
Oh, yeah. You can stand up and hear them if you want.
What to say?
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
What a unique service today. A big thank you to Sandy and Karen Shapiro for leading us and directing us in services in Rabbi Van's absence. Thank you to Susan Gordon Myrtler for a beautiful Devar Torah. And of course, our ongoing gratitude to Deb Rogers for the lovely music this evening. Thank you. Also, we thank the dedicated STKA staff and volunteers and leadership. Our Open Doors Commitment membership campaign continues. Thank you to all those who have responded so quickly and generously. To those who have not yet responded, we rely on your membership. And please consider increasing your commitment to be part of our Modim, our new recognition society. Our summer gatherings are still going strong. If you're interested in outdoor yoga, farmers market, or hiking, please visit the website or reach out to the office for more information and to register. And we are very glad to see everyone who is attending in person tonight. We will continue trying to worship outdoors as weather permits, complying with the CDC guidelines for our masking requirements, as indicated on the sign in the front door. Please check the website or Temple Times for current COVID policies. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thanks, Tessa. Our closing song will be on page 327, Non Como Muestro Dio. That's Ladino in Kelahenu.
Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I said it.
Ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu, non como maestro Dio, non como maestro Señor, non como maestro Rey, non como maestro Salvador. Mi Eloheinu, mi Adonenu, mi Malkeinu, mi Moshienu. Quem como maestro Dios, quem como maestro Señor, quem como maestro Rey, quem como maestro Salvador. No del Eloheinu, no del Adonenu, no del Malkeinu, no del Moshienu. Lo haremos a maestro Dios, lo haremos a maestro Señor, lo haremos a maestro Rey, lo haremos a maestro Salvador. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu. Bendito Maestro Dios, bendito Maestro Señor, bendito Maestro Rey, bendito Maestro Salvador. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Tu el Maestro Dios, tu el Maestro Señor, tu el Maestro Rey, tu el Maestro Salvador. Please rise for the benediction in body or in spirit. Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May the light of God's presence shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom ve'yasem lecha shalom.
May God lift God's countenance to you and grant you the gift of shalom, peace, Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
So before we segue to the foyer for our motzi, let's do it here so our folks at home can join us. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'tei avon.
Avon.
And Shabbat shalom.
And
Shabbat shalom.
Are we allowed to eat this here?